is Danielle Turner. This is my YouTube video on eye anatomy for the spring 2020 semester. Let's get started. Today, I will be briefly describing the 18 structures and definitions that we are covering in this class. Let's begin with the cornea in the anterior segment of the eye. The cornea is the front, transparent part of the outer protective layer of the eye. Its bulging curvature provides the major refraction or focal strength of the eye. It's a very specialized tissue as it's the only transparent tissue in the body. Blood vessels are not found in the cornea. Nourishment and oxygen are received through the aqueous and tears, in which the cornea is in direct contact. Next is the conjunctiva. This is the clear membrane that covers the sclera and also lines the inner portion of the eyelids. The iris is the colored portion of the eye that contains the pupil. The iris controls the amount of light entering the eye by enlarging or minimizing the size of the pupil, much like a camera, regulating the amount of light that enters the eye. The pupil is the round hole in the center of the iris through which light passes. It's the actual door through which light enters the eye. The pupil ordinarily appears black because there's very little light coming from the dark chamber behind it. Interestingly, the pupil is actually a hole. It's not something you can touch. Here's a joke for you. Why are eye doctors so smart? Because they were good pupils. Next is the aqueous. This is the watery fluid that fills the anterior chamber of the eye and provides some of the nutrition for the surrounding parts. This fluid is constantly being produced and drained out. The purpose is to bathe the lens, nourish the cornea, lens, and iris, and to maintain intraocular pressure. The lens is the resilient, transparent structure in the eye that produces light by changing its curvature. It provides secondary refraction after the cornea. The cornea provides the majority of refraction of light. The lens is located behind the iris. The lens gets fatter when we focus at near to converge the rays of light to the closer working distance. Sometime around the age of 40, the ability to change shape and focus at near decreases. When this occurs, reading glasses or bifocals can be prescribed by an eye care professional. Now we are moving on to the canal of Schlemm. Aqueous from the anterior chamber flows through the trabecular meshwork as it travels to the canal of Schlemm, which is a collection canal that delivers the aqueous to the venous system of the body. The ciliary body or ciliary muscles are the muscles that control focus, also called accommodation, of the eyes by causing the lens to change shape. This structure produces the aqueous, which flows forward through the pupil and into the anterior segment. The suspensory ligaments are long, thin fibers which connect the crystalline lens to the ring of ciliary muscles. The vitreous humor is a clear, jelly-like substance located behind the lens that fills the posterior segment of the eye. The vitreous is susceptible to hemorrhage from retinal diseases such as diabetes, scarring from traumatic injury, or congenital problems such as retinopathy of prematurity. The vitreous can be surgically removed and replaced with other fluids. The optic nerve is the bundle of fibers that carry vision-related impulses from the retina to the brain. It funnels all the information from the retina and sends it to the occipital cortex via the visual pathway, much like an electrical cable sends electricity to an appliance being used. The optic disc, also known as the blind spot, is the head of the optic nerve where ganglion cell axons exit the eye. There are no photoreceptors at the optic disc, which is why this is the anatomical blind spot of the eye. The macula is a small, thinned out area of the retina consisting almost exclusively of cone photoreceptor cells, which provides high visual acuity. The fovea centralis is the central portion of the macula and has the highest concentration of cones. It is only at the fovea that we have 20/20 vision. The ora serrata is the area of the inner eye where the retina ends and the choroid layer of the eye can be seen. The retina is the inner lining of the back chamber of the eye, which contains the photoreceptors, or rods and cones, that receive light rays that enter the eye through the pupil and convert these light rays into electrical impulses which are relayed to the brain via the optic nerve. The cones provide detailed vision and color vision, while the rods provide night vision and global movement. The cones are concentrated in the macular region, and the rods are concentrated away from the macula. The choroid is a layer between the retina and sclera, consisting primarily of blood vessels which provide nourishment to the retina. Finally, we come to the sclera. The sclera is the tough, white, fibrous, outer protective layer of the eye. It's often referred to as the whites of the eyes. It's the outermost part of the eye and encloses the entire eyeball except the cornea. The sclera protects the inner, more delicate structures of the eye and also serves as the anchor point for extraocular muscles, which act as pulleys moving the eye. And those are the 18 structures covered in this class. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Goodbye.